Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Haslab Star Wars Cantina for the Vintage Collection, and I gave some of my initial thoughts in my news, and I wanted to sit back, let this marinate. I still feel the same way about it I did in my news, but I've watched some other people and their responses, what they think about it, how they feel about it, and I've kind of digested that. But we're going to go over kind of the offering of this, and we'll go about this a little different, but I've chimed in on every Haslab since the Cell Barge, since they started Haslab. I've only purchased now about half of them, and I wasn't in on every one of them, but I've got to say that this offering is good. It's decent. Is it worth the money? Is it worth the price? Of course, that's all going to be up to you, but let's get into looking at this, and I've got a bit of a different take coming up. First of all, I want to say that the Star Wars Cantina from Kenner was, in my opinion, and I still hold that opinion, a terrible playset. It was one of the lesser playsets out there, and I picked up a used one. I got some parts. I don't even think I have a complete one. It's pretty close to complete. I just don't care. That's how unimpressed I was with this back in the day, and when I was collecting this almost 30 years ago, I got an almost complete one and thought it was good enough. But, contrast this with the Death Star. The vintage Kenner Death Star is way more impressive than this. They didn't go all out, and they reused this for Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, I believe. Now, I want to point out they've made sort of a Cantina. It was $105. You got 3 figures and one half of a Cantina. This is the Black Series 6-inch modern. It's alright, I guess, but you have to buy multiples to get this. This is Black Series, and I just want to point this out. This is extremely unimpressive. I passed on this. For the price point, for just getting reissue of figures that are $5 at Ollie's or Ross, I did not want to mess with this. I was like, nope, don't need this in my life. And I didn't buy it. Now, I gotta say, it's probably going for a lot on the secondary market. I didn't look. But did they make a Cantina for the vintage collection already? The answer is yes. They did make sort of a modern 3.75 to 4-inch scale version. You could have gotten in a Kmart exclusive, I guess, is what was going on with that. You can get separate packs. Now, I avoided this whole era. I was kind of tired of buying modern Star Wars after The Phantom Menace and 1999, and so I kind of avoided a lot of this stuff. A lot of good stuff that I passed on, I admit that, but this stuff has gotten kind of pricey these days, and for a vintage collection collector, an original vintage collector, or somebody that's just getting in on these retros and wants to make a diorama, it's already getting expensive, meaning that it's like $75 to $100 to get the set here, and then like $100 or $35 each for the individual ones that come with bar stools. Now, I do expect this thing to fully fund. I expect it to hit all the tiers. We'll talk about the tiers. But as I'm reviewing this, making this video, it's only halfway there, which is a little bit surprising, a little bit alarming, but at the same time, how many collectors have come into this space that only collect Black Series? So there's a lot of those people. Then how many collectors come into this space that are like deep into Clone Wars? How many collectors got into this space for modern Disney? Well, okay, there's 5 of those. Just kidding, but still, this is so iconic. To me, it makes sense. But I'll kind of give ideas what I would have rather seen at the end of this and why I think it's not funding. So let's just get into the offering. Alright, so let's take a look at this Cantina offering they have. You can see the exterior wall coming inside. Movie accurate design. It looks pretty good. I think they did a good job with the details on it. Then you've got all these different places to sit. It looks good there. Then you can go into this area here, configurable play and display. Now, it's modular. You're going to be able to move and mix and match, do however you want. And yeah, they all actually look like the same little area to sit. That's all about the same. Premium detail inspired by entertainment. And they've done a good job. That's IG-88's head or IG-11's, depending on who you're talking to. Pick your offering in here, and I think it looks pretty good for that. Another $100, you get another third of it. That's I'm not going to get in on that, but you've got details like skulls and heads and stuff on the wall, and they really analyze the media to get into it. We get a whir with it. This is included with the offering. You get Tonica Sisters, which is a big deal. We'll talk about that in a bit. They are included with it, and then we are going to see at 8,000 backers, it's backed. You get all that. Now we're only halfway there. Then Greedo is 11,000. He looks like a good Greedo. We've gotten one look like that in the past. Then we got this one here, 14,000, and I've got a white one in mind, but the silver has been made before. We got this one, the Wolfman, 17,000. Tough to get that one now. It looks like it might be hard to get to that one, but all in all, decent offering overall. Here's what you get for the base model, and then if you get so this is $400. For $500, you get 3 more little pod pieces, sitting room areas, extra cups and accessories and tables and all that. And there's going to be different detailing surrounding that. But for me, this is all I'm going for, and I'm only getting one. Note that so many people used to buy 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 and speculate on that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of speculation on this. There's going to be some, but not as much as we see in the past with other Haslabs. Bear that in mind. I'm only going with the base model for that. This is a good looking Cantina though. It is way more detailed than what Black Series did. They've done a good job with it. Overall, I like the way it looks. I still don't like the price. I feel like 300 would have been pushing it, even though, because I'm the one that passed on the Jabba Palace at $229, which is still an amazing feat, and I'll probably pick one up here on the sale, but this one here, there's no other way to get it. Either you pay now or you pay double, triple later, and if it doesn't sell very well, if it doesn't hit 28,000, it's not going to be a very cheap aftermarket product. But they've done some good things. Some people complain that it doesn't have a floor, which that's my complaint, and it doesn't have a top. So the floor, like a cardboard insert or something, would be great. A top, a removable top, yeah, that'd be okay. But it's not even that big of a deal, because once you got it on a shelf, you're not going to notice that it doesn't have a ceiling. Plus, you can have better viewing angles, but those are some points people have brought up. I still think it looks pretty good. I think they've done a good job with detailing it overall for the most part. And, I have the original Walmart Jabba the Hutt, which is just the Jabba the Hutt one they did has, well, a lot of this in it, but it feels like it's the early ideas of going to these diorama type of play sets. They're not play sets, there are no play features, there's just diorama setups, but they look really good. They really feel like you see the movie come to life on your shelf. But it's still minimum $400 to get in, and you factor in if you get the unlocks. I think they did the unlocks right, in my opinion, by the way, but we'll get into that here in just a bit. I think these pictures all look good. I think the whole set looks good. It's one of those things though, how is this your father's Cantina, and are you the one collecting Disney Star Wars? Are you the one collecting Clone Wars? Maybe this isn't for those people. And when you see the Ghost sell out, and I don't even want it for that price, that's kind of a weird situation. Okay, so we saw this in the video. It's included the Whir figure. Now, I've got a Whir. He has 5 POA, and he's in my cardboard cutout picture display from the 90s. There was a cardboard Cantina made in the 90s. I didn't show because it's just cardboard. This is way better than that, of course, and the Whir is way better than that also. Wooher? Nah, it's Whir. What's up? This is the Tonica Sisters. Now, this has been a point of contention for a lot of people. Now, watching the live stream, they pointed out that This card back's never going to be used again. This is a very special card back. Almost as if they foreshadow that these figures will come out also. Do I want to see these figures put behind a paywall of a Haslab? And if you've already invested in a custom one, you have the cardboard one, you saw the 90s, the early 2000s Saga one, if you already have a Cantina display and you just want these two ladies in it, I don't think they should be held hostage. But on the other hand, I don't feel like there's enough here to make it special just to buy it if they offer it later. So this might be a burn. Like, you might get burned by buying this and they release these later in another way, shape, or form. That would be rough. But again, I don't want them hidden behind a paywall either. That's not a good business strategy, other than, of course, to suck your money and suck it dry. So Greedo is an 11,000. Okay, I don't think we need a Greedo. Personally, I think that there's enough Greedos out there that fit the bill for this in another capacity, but for 11,000, I just don't feel like we need a Greedo. But okay, it's fine. For some reason, I thought Greedo was the last one. No, he's not. Then this one here, I have it. I got it cheap, but in white. I think there's a silver one with a silver costume out there already, but mine's white. I thought it was silver too, but I was like, I got like the cheaper white one. But anyhow, it's gonna be a nice addition. I won't open any of these, so they'll stay on the card back anyway. Doesn't matter. And then I don't know if maybe this figure never got made before, but you always think of kind of the werewolf man that's in there in an orange thing, but the other werewolf man that's in there. I showed it my news, a comparison. I'm not gonna do it here. Still, cool offerings. I believe it will still hit the 17,000, but if it doesn't, it will definitely hit 8,000. But if it doesn't hit the 17, we miss out on this. That just makes the whole overall set that much rarer and harder to get. And again, almost impossible to get if there's not people like me buying 3. I'm only buying 1. Now, why is this not funding as fast as I think it should? Well, we've got 31 more days, but, well, number one is the economy. And you could say, the Ghost funded like that. It's the economy. Nah, that's not the same economy we're in now. It's even worse now than it was during the Ghost. But there was media pushing the Ghost, there was hype, there was emotion involvement with the Ghost. This is kind of like, you know what, I remember this, it's iconic, I kind of want it, but I've done something to make up some sort of scene. I have personally made a Cantina scene. So it's not a huge need. That's part of the reason. People have already set up their displays. They've already figured out a Cantina scene. Even though this is probably better than most people's Cantina scenes. Now, I've seen some customs that are way better, by the way. But this is still a pretty good offering to the masses for $400. Getting into the next one, price. This thing should not have exceeded $300. It should have been $300 for the base, had some sort of a cardboard flooring, and I don't really care about the top. And it's nice that you can remove the top of each room. That's nice too, so you can see what's going on in there. But for that, the price is going to be a problem. And let me just put this out there. I think the Haslab G.I. Joe is going to be a Rattler, and I think it's going to be $350. A Rattler for $350 in the scale for G.I. Joe Classified, and that's going to fund in a day. But that's my belief. That's what I think. And here we are. I mean, are we getting close to a week on this? It's like 3 or 4 days. Maybe 5 days. And we're only halfway there. But we'll probably see the Joe one fund by midnight or something like that. And lastly, I want to get back to it. Although 6-inch scale, 7-inch scale, the bigger stuff, is probably the dominant scale at retail for collectors, and there's more modern collectors than there are vintage collectors. It seems like that, at least that watch YouTube. I do feel like Star Wars Black Series has stalled. It's almost dead, and this offering is just showing that they even Hasbro thinks that the 3.75, the vintage collection, the smaller stuff, is more desirable, or at least it's more profitable. I'm not sure which route that is, and we see it with Ghostbusters also. So as I've said before, with all the stuff that's coming with it, $400, I think the price is too high, but I'm only getting one base model. I'm not buying 3. I'm not going to have any to sell or trade or hook anyone up, and I think a lot of people are just like me. I think a lot of people are in that camp. But what camp are you in? Are you buying it? Are you buying 3? Are you buying 20? Are you buying none? None. And do you already have a Cantina display in your collection? Because I bet you do if you collect this and you collect this scale. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Cantina Pigger out.